Would you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about what is the science of sex exactly?
The Science of Sex is a lot of things. It's a Substack publication that I created to help people to understand human sexuality through the lens of science. Like most other topics and subjects out there, I believe that there's a ton of just really, really bad information out there that misleads a lot of people in the internet age. And I think that science is a very powerful tool for us to be able to better understand, what it is that we're trying to understand. And that includes ourselves. Unlike most other topics, I also think that sex is rather all encompassing. So you won't find like erotica or pornography or anything like that on the science of sex. It's genuinely for a better understanding of human sexuality. And I think that's an area that we're extremely confused in, but I think it's also an area that touches every aspect of our lives. And nobody really ever thinks of that, right? Like if I told you, I'm going for a vacation and I was trying to pick a country to go to. If you show me all of the countries where women are like second class citizens and don't have equal rights, or the countries where being gay or bisexual is illegal, I will show you all the countries where I have no interest in going to. Because I think that it's a proxy for other rights. I'll also show you a lot of countries where people have very little in the way of human rights, because I think that humans, when they start to control other people, one of the first things they do is clamp down on sexuality. And so, yeah, I think it plays out in the philosophical, the political, the personal, the psychological domains, and it just happens to be that sex is the way that a lot of those things come together.
There's the argument like you would pick your spouse because your farms were right next to each other. So you could just like, take the fence down and now, two families become one and your farm is bigger. That's
Mhm.
like the reason to get married because you have a farm right next to the other person. So just, yeah, sorry, go on.
No, no, it's all good. So I think that we have had to learn a new way of relating as a species, and it's a very good thing, but there's growing pains that come along with it, right? Like we don't really know how to make somebody feel good. Even worse, in a sense that somebody's emotions is not something that you can physically see. It's not something you can control like you could a physical object. But something like money, it's a lot easier to believe this, I don't know, borderline conspiracy theory that if you just had more money, that you would be able to attract people. And I've gone through periods in my life where I was very lonely and I didn't have anybody and I was miserable, right? And I always felt I made up excuses. Like personally, I would be like, well, I don't have enough money. Well, I don't have enough this or that. I'm not good looking enough. I'm a redheaded ginger and you never see us on the cover of magazines. And there was tons of excuses that I would come up with. And I'm not saying that everybody's coming up with an invalid excuse, but I'm saying that I know that pattern. And I think that something like money, it seems so appealing, right? Like, oh, if I can just go buy the right clothes, then I could put those on and people will love me. But like, have you ever met anybody who's fallen in love with somebody because of an article of clothing that they were wearing? No. Um, do you believe that anybody in the history of the human race has ever been seen somebody like with an object and been like, oh, I am incredibly turned on by that object? And even if they were, then they're not actually attracted to you, they're attracted to the object. So you run into like a ton of philosophical problems